I get asked this question frequently. What is the difference between a rescue diver and a public safety diver? It's Mouthpiece Monday time. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Divers Ready. My name's James. As always, so great to see all of your smiling faces. Now, as I am an instructor for both of these scuba disciplines, I am well placed to explain the difference between a public safety diver and a rescue diver in the common parlance of our industry. And I am not joking, I get this question a ton. So I'm really making this video for me so I can just send people the link to this video when I get asked. And it will save me a lot of time digging myself out of my inbox. Let's start with public safety diving. Public safety diving is a professional discipline typically conducted by police or fire dive teams, sometimes by enthusiastic amateur dive teams with support of supervision from police or fire, or by commercial dive teams in it to make money. It's a team-based job with different roles from diver to dive tender to dive safety officer, all who would fall under the remit of public safety dive team. The call-outs that a public safety dive team may respond to include things like evidence recovery, i.e. someone throws a weapon off a bridge and it needs to be found and recovered. Vehicle recovery in the event that a car goes into a body of water. Swift water rescue in the event that a person goes into a fast-flowing river or body of water. Or body recovery in the event of an incident like the recent tragic Baltimore Bridge collision. Public safety dive teams may be required to testify in court, and there's a specific training for that. They are trained in evidence recovery so as not to contaminate the evidence or break the chain of custody. Scene management, emergency medicine, CPR, dry suit, full face mask, underwater comms. It is a professional role within the emergency response community. They have their own separate training agencies for this, the existence of which most recreational divers are unaware of. They don't need to be. It is a completely different world and a skill set to anything other concerning what we do in recreational diving. If this is a career goal for you, how do you become a public safety diver? Well, usually police and fire PSD teams, as they're known, are chosen from within their respective departments. So your first step would then be to find out if it's the police or fire that run the dive team in your area and become a firefighter or a police officer and complete basic training. And then usually those individuals would have to spend a certain amount of time in entry-level roles before they can ask to switch to a specialist unit like the dive team. So of course, this is going to vary by municipality, city, county, or state. In areas where it does not make budgetary sense to maintain a full-time public safety dive team, there may exist voluntary dive teams composed of civilians, but these are few and far between. As many of you may know, I worked on a small Caribbean island for years, and the island's police had no specialist dive team. So anytime they needed subaquatic assistance, they would call us, the local recreational dive shop, and we would do the best we can with what we had. There are also commercial PSD companies that may be hired on a professional level to assist police or fire teams, and often these companies hire retired individuals with a military, police or fire background. Here in South Florida, we have a lot of waterways. A lot of those waterways run next to roads, and we have a lot of bad drivers. So quite often these commercial PSD teams will be called out to retrieve a vehicle out of a canal or such. Kind of like a tow service, but with a diver needed to rig up the submerged vehicle. Those are typically the main roles of a public safety diver, and if you're a public safety diver watching this, feel free to jump in the comments and let us know anything that I missed, kind of super high level skimming over here. But you should already be getting a sense that this is a world away from a recreational rescue diver's experience. Rescue diver is a recreational dive course, not professional. We already made a video that looks at what a well-taught rescue diver course should include, so I'll link that up above there somewhere. I don't want to have to repeat myself here, but super high level, the goal of a rescue diver course is to take a competent advanced open water diver and make them a little bit more useful in the event of an incident occurring in real time at a dive site. So topics such as search and recovery, towing an unconscious diver, in-water rescue breaths, in-water doffing of equipment, and deep water exits with an unconscious diver are all presented. And in the event of an incident on a dive boat or from shore, you will become more useful to the dive professionals who are managing the scene, the boat captain, the instructors, the dive masters, whoever is in charge of the situation. The rescue diver is also a prerequisite to becoming a dive professional, so those skills are required knowledge going into those fields. But that's it. It is not an emergency response position. You're not going to be responding to call-outs in the middle of the night as if someone turned on the scuba bat signal. You're not going to be jumping out of a helicopter into 20-foot seas. Calm down, Scooter. And I think that's where the confusion creeps in, because the name rescue diver conjures up a military image. The Coast Guard and Navy have rescue divers and rescue swimmers. We've seen the movies, The Perfect Storm, pretty good. The Guardian, god awful. And you see these rescue divers doing hero shit, and that is not recreational rescue diving. Also, the chance of you having to use any of your skills taught on a rescue diver course, probably like 1 in 1,000. I've had to perform CPR exactly once on a snorkeler, as it happens, in nearly 3 decades of recreational diving. And that guy was already a long time dead, but we had to keep up the pretense of the not on my watch, goddammit, performance for his family who were all on the same boat. So I don't mean that to sound cold. That old guy died peacefully surrounded by his children and grandchildren who clearly adored him, snorkeling a Caribbean reef looking at turtles and pretty fish. It was a pretty good way to go out in my book. Nonetheless, it's not an often occurrence. So I hope this clarifies things for you and separates the very different disciplines of rescue versus public safety diver. Thanks so much for watching. As always, don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you haven't done so already, and I will see you in the next video. Dive safe, dive often.